continuing from the previous episode 1175. Forget it. I don't have time to play with you. Otherwise, my aura spreads and attracts the powerhouses above your eastern continent. At that time, it will be difficult to escape, and things will be even more troublesome. Han Hao looked into the distance, but there was a flicker in his black pupils. Smile. Ha ha ha. Since you and the guy just now are in the same group, when I capture you, I will definitely ask him where he is. You guys, you can't run far. The shadow is a bit more solid, apparently temporarily suppressing the backlash of the fighting spirit. You guy, you have some strength. Seeing Yu Gan temporarily suppressing the backlash of Do's soul, Han Hao's expression became serious. Although Yu Gan was a strong man who devoured the fighting spirit and was attacked, in the final analysis, this guy is a strong man with fighting spirit. Han Hao's strength is naturally also in the early stage of the 3-star Do Xian. Although Yu Gan's strength can only be at the perfect level of the 2-star Do Xian because of the fighting spirit, but using the power of the fighting spirit, he is enough to make up for this gap. The two of you are rare opponents. But today, I won't let you go. Since I got the fighting spirit, this is the first time I have used the power of the fighting spirit. Next, I'll let you appreciate the true power of this fighting spirit. Ha ha ha. After Yu Gan finished speaking, his entire body suddenly turned red, and the next moment, a red thunderbolt slowly gushed out from his body. A fighting spirit of the thunder attribute? Han Hao took back his 3 soul locks when he saw this, and then said with vigilance in his eyes. The thunder attribute has possessed an extremely tyrannical power of destruction since ancient times, and when combined with the paralyzing effect, it can be said to be very terrifying. Boom boom boom. Every time the red thunder appeared on Yu Gan's body, it had a trace of violent aura like a soul beast. That aura made people shudder, and the phantom of the fighting soul was also slow. Emerge. What kind of fighting spirit is this? And when he felt such a terrifying red thunder, the expression on Han Hao's face also became strange. Han Hao naturally wouldn't be afraid of the power of ordinary thunder, but the red thunder on Yu Gan's body actually made him feel frightened. This was something that had never happened before. If Yu Gan was only wearing the most low-level mortal fighting spirit, Han Hao would not be afraid, but if this guy devoured it, it was not the mortal fighting spirit, but the spiritual fighting spirit, then Han Hao would have to stand guard. After reaching Do Xian, the power of Do Xian in the body is already strong enough. When using Do Xian's power, its power is more vicious than Do Xian's power. The force of Do Xian inherits the fierce power of Do Xian. For example, if you devour a mortal fighting spirit named Demon Wolf, then if you use the power of the fighting spirit, you will summon the phantom of the Demon Wolf, shrouding you, and all subsequent attacks will be carried with the ferocity of the possessed wolf and the power of its unique attributes. This is the most terrifying place for the fighting spirit. Just imagine, if a destruction-type powerhouse devoured a powerful defensive fighting spirit, you only need to use the power of the fighting spirit to summon the fighting spirit to defend, and one person alone can sweep the entire country. Such tyranny is the fighting spirit of horror. Spiritual product. The next moment, Han Hao gave an evaluation. And just after Han Hao's voice fell, on the body of the trunk in the sky, a giant ape shadow with a size of 100 meters appeared. This Du Hun phantom seems to be similar to Do Di's body. Han Hao said slightly. Blood Heaven Demon Ape? Not far away, the black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf's expressions changed drastically. This Blood Sky Demon Ape has a reputation for being vicious. The two of them have gone to crusade many times, but they have no choice but to return empty-handed. Unexpectedly, this fighting spirit was swallowed up by Yu Gan. The fighting spirits are different from ordinary magical beasts and even spirit beasts. They are very few in number, and most of them are pure energy bodies, so they are very easy to distinguish. Ha ha ha. As soon as the Blood Sky Demon Ape comes out, I'll see where you are going this time. Yu Gan's body was shrouded in the phantom shadow of the Blood Heaven Demon Ape, and he suddenly exuded a violent aura, and the power of red thunder continued in the phantom. It flows everywhere, bringing up bursts of loess all over the sky. The Blood Sky Demon Ape is very strong, but how much power can you use now? Han Hao said while running the power in his body, preparing to resist. Han Hao is one of the 12 souls of the Ghost Kingdom. Naturally, he has the pride that belongs to him. Even if this *** demon ape is strong, he still cannot shake his pride. Blood Heaven Demon Ape roar. However, Yu Gan didn't give Hun Hao any chance to escape. He shouted loudly, and the phantom shadow of the Blood Heaven Demon Ape shrouded him suddenly drank. Yuanku took a breath. An indescribable terrifying sound wave spread out in an instant. Wherever the sound waves are caused, the grass, wood, mud and stones are all turned into powder in an instant. Not good. The demonic roar of this ** demonic ape is its life-saving means. Even a 3-star fighting fairy would not dare to touch it. Fast back. Seeing this, the black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf suddenly retreated, leaving the Yugon and the 200s of meters away in an instant. Bastard, I can't run away. Hun Hao watched the sonic attack that locked him away quickly. His face was pale, and a sense of powerlessness emerged. This Blood Sky Demon Ape is the most outstanding sonic attack, and for some reason, being swept away by this sonic attack, the power in his body is vaguely solidified, and he can't mobilize the slightest. Spiritual fighting soul is able to give you such a huge power, the more powerful fighting spirit that time, isn't it? Hun Hao didn't have a trace of fear, but there was a strange smile on his face. Soul sacrifice. The next moment, the invisible sound wave attack was about to attack him, and suddenly Soul Hao flicked his fingers, and a cloth bag with a rather delicate texture slowly appeared in everyone's sight. This is. Yugon just launched such a tyrannical attack, but when he saw this cloth bag, his pupils shrank tightly. As if there is something terrifying on this cloth bag. Ha ha ha. There are indeed some amazing guys under Yinhun Tiandongzhou. Although the price is too high to do so, the immortal leaves are enough to make up for the price. Soul sacrifice. All souls ascend to heaven. As the voice of Soul Hao fell, a gloomy black air suddenly smashed the cloth bag. Woo-hoo-hoo! A gust of gloomy wind came, and hundreds of thousands of illusory afterimages suddenly escaped from the cloth bag. This is a soul body? Seeing such a huge number of soul bodies emerging directly from the cloth bag, Yugan's pupils shrank tightly, and a touch of fear filled his heart. What about the fighting spirit? Let you try this power of 10,000 souls. Break me! And tens of thousands of soul bodies just emerged, and they ran away in all directions, but the next moment, Hun Hao's palm suddenly swelled up, grabbed it suddenly, and immediately grabbed these soul bodies, and then immediately suddenly squeezed. A shattering sound slowly sounded, and at the same time, a group of extremely bright blue light groups slowly brewed. Go to hell. Hun Hao suddenly swung his palm towards Yugon, but before Yugon could react, the bright cyan light burst through his sonic attack in an instant, so the next moment, he was about to attack. To yourself. Fighting Soul is an evolved version of the Fighting Emperor's body. Both of them form an energy phantom outside the body. And the fighting spirit can be simply understood as, if you devour any fighting spirit, you can use the fighting spirit's skills. The previous body of Do Di was written down, and there was almost no drama. Now Do Spirit takes over the game. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1176. Old bastard. Seeing the cyan light coming towards his face, Yugan's blood-red pupils couldn't help but suddenly dilate. This azure light group is condensed by countless soul bodies, and the soul power has been related to the alchemist since ancient times. Unless the alchemist or some very special forces will cultivate, otherwise the soul power of normal people, all is too weak. And this weak soul power is undoubtedly a fatal point for them. Even if it is as powerful as Yugon in the early days of the 3-star Battle of Immortals, with a fighting spirit, and its soul power has just reached the Emperor realm, if it wants to deal with this attack that is purely formed by the condensed soul body, I am afraid it will be quite difficult. Bastard **** bastard. Yugon couldn't help scolding. This is the first time he heard of using the means of attacking the soul body, but at this time he obviously didn't have time to think about other things. The blue light group disappeared in a blink of an eye. It was the sonic attack that easily swept through his own, and slammed into the 100-meter phantom of his *** demon ape. Woo! The cyan light just hit the phantom of his ** demon ape, and the phantom suddenly screamed in pain. Although the Blood Sky Demon Ape is a spirit-level fighting spirit, it is a thunder attribute, but there is no way to deal with this kind of attack that is condensed by the power of the soul. The cyan light group just attacked the phantom, and immediately hit the source, causing quite serious damage to the Blood Sky Demon Ape. No, If it goes on like this, the Blood Sky Demon Ape will be wiped out by this soul attack. Yu Gan also felt the pain of the Blood Sky Demon Ape and couldn't help saying, if the fighting soul is swallowed, all the consciousness of the fighting soul will be assimilated by the master and become part of the master's strength, and the memory and power of the fighting soul will be inherited by the master, but Yu Gan's forcible swallowing, the blood demon. The consciousness of the ape is naturally backlashing all the time, so it is reasonable to have this appearance. Ha ha ha, the power of your fighting spirit is indeed tyrannical. If it weren't for the fact that I have something in the bottom of the box, I'm afraid I would have fallen under your sonic attack. It's a pity. Han Hao on the side also smiled, but there was a trace of pain on his face. Tens of thousands of soul bodies, this is the result of his almost 3 years. If it is not for his own critical survival time, what kind of soul Hao was also reluctant to take it out? After all, if these tens of thousands of soul bodies are handed over, it can give him a lot of strength, but getting the immortal leaves is also a kind of compensation. It's a bit. You underestimate me, Blood Demon Ape. Swallow it for me. In the next moment, the red thunderbolts all over Yu Gan's body were as terrifying as a thunderfield, but those red thunderbolts slowly penetrated his body, and all of them appeared to the phantom of the bloody demon ape. On top, what? With the emergence of those red thunderbolts, the 100-meter-sized body of the bloody demon ape that was about to be shattered has expanded several times, and even its breath has skyrocketed a lot. Guru. With a sound, the Cyan light group was swallowed by the Blood Sky Demon Ape without a trace. Shabu Shabu. The Soul Light group swallowed by the Blood Sky Demon Ape instantly came to Yu Gan. This Soul Light group is actually full of various emotions. The joys and sorrows, joys and sorrows. However, we're running out of time now. As soon as he finished speaking, Yu Gan opened his mouth slightly, took a sharp breath, and immediately sucked the Cyan light into his belly. The power contained in this soul light group is too terrifying. If it is not solved, I am afraid it will destroy itself. And now the best solution is probably to swallow it. Asshole, dare to absorb the source of the soul like this, are you crazy? Looking at Yu Gan's actions, Han Hao couldn't help frowning. It is extremely difficult to collect these tens of thousands of soul origins. In order to collect these soul origins, Han Hao almost fell into the hands of human powerhouses several times. But even so, these soul light clusters are full of emotions. Even he did not dare to absorb it rashly. But it was actually absorbed by this feather in front of you? Just after absorbing the soul light group, countless emotions rioted in its body. Obviously, although this soul source is a great tonic, it is also a poison. Tisk tisk tisk. This guy, I'm afraid the mind has been disturbed by the Blood Sky Demon Ape. The source of the soul is powerful, but if it is swallowed so much, I am afraid that it will become a lunatic. Calculate the time. Soul Wuya should also be in a safe place, and I should go too. Lord of Li Soul, the revenge of our ghost kingdom will start from this ghost day. Susu. After Han Hao finished speaking, his figure flashed, turned into a black chi, and headed into the distance. Sir. And the many strong men in the city lord's mansion hidden below couldn't help but say, go, Beihe. You bring a large army and bring the black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf to justice on the spot. As for Yu Gan, he's in a very bad situation right now. Don't touch him first, just in case there's a scam. Dead Wind said, how about you, my lord? The old man on the side asked. That guy had a familiar aura just now. I have to go and find out. After Death Feng finished speaking, he flickered and immediately followed the direction of Han Hao's disappearance. Do it. Bye, he said in a deep voice, and then dozens of silhouettes burst out at the same time, facing the sky. Brother, what should we do now? I'm afraid this Yu Gan has gone crazy. On the side, in order to avoid the Scar Wolf who just used the power of the fighting soul to radiate the wave, he couldn't help asking. Do not care. Yu Quan just swallowed the Azure Light group. I'm afraid he's lost his mind now. We were walking on the tip of the knife since he failed. We must escape from here as soon as possible. I always feel that the atmosphere here is not right. After the black-faced tiger finished speaking, he looked around, but he didn't see anything. Let's go. Scar Wolf glanced at Yu Quan who kept holding his head and screaming in the sky, swept his figure and fled into the distance. Peefed. With a sound, the Scar Wolf just got up automatically, as if it had hit the wall for a year. What's going on? Scar Wolf looked at the transparent space in front of him, but didn't understand what was going on. Formation? We're surrounded. The black-faced tiger also frowned and said slowly. Black-faced tiger, Scarred Wolf, let's capture it. You are already guilty of serious sins, and you even colluded with the Yu family and plotted against the law. I am ordered by the city master to kill the two of you. At the next moment, dozens of figures lined up one after another and appeared in front of the two. If you want to capture us, let's see if you have the ability. Do it. The black-faced tiger's face sank. He knew that the strength of the two of them would not be able to defeat the elite of the city lord's mansion in front of him, but right now, there was nothing to do. If the two of them are captured by these guys, I'm afraid that what awaits them is death. However, although the two of them are quite strong, but here are the elites of the city lord's mansion, and it is only a matter of time before they are captured. And with the end of the matter here, Xiao Yan's figure also slowly chased after Soul Wuya with the undead leaves. Continuing from the previous episode 1177. Damn Hunhao. You actually see me laughing. When I go back to the Kingdom of Ghosts this time, I will offer you the undead leaves, and I will see how you can compete with me. Hun Wuya took the undead leaves and hid his breath, but he fled here quickly, cursing along the way. Obviously, even if he, Hun Wuya and Hun Hao, are both the 12 soul venerables, there are constant grudges between them. I don't know why the Lord of 10,000 Ghosts is looking for Schengen. Although the undead leaves are relatively high in strength and ranking among the holy flames, for us people in the ghost world, only 2 holy flames can be swallowed. Annihilated in an instant. Wait, could it be that the Lord of 10,000 Ghosts has found a way to devour other holy flames? Hun Wuya stopped briefly and said to himself, what's the secret of this undead leaf? The more he thought about it, the more wrong it became. He simply stopped, looked for an uninhabited rock, and gently took out the undead leaf. If I can get the immortal leaf, I'm afraid I can surpass the 12 souls and enter the top level of the Ghost Kingdom. At that time, I will have all the resources I need to enjoy. Hun Wuya thought, and carefully looked at the immortal in front of him. Trying to find out its hidden secrets. Do it now. The huge soul power perfectly concealed Xiao Yan's breath, and then Xiao Yan couldn't help asking behind the trees that were less than tens of meters away from Soul Wuya. Wait a minute, this guy seems to know something about the undead leaf. The Soul Eater said lightly. Just after he finished speaking, the core inscription of the divine movement in Xiao Yan's body kept squirming, and the mysterious and unpredictable power was silent. Wrapped here. Why is this undead leaf wrapped in ice? As soon as Soul Eater's voice fell, he heard Soul Wuya's voice full of inconceivable. No, it's better to say that this layer of ice protects the undead leaves instead of wrapping it up. Could it be that the holy flame of undying fire has something to do with ice? Soul Wuya said after taking a closer look. This place is already out of the jurisdiction of Ghost King City, and it is rarely crowded. In addition, Hun Wuya has carefully inspected and there is no breath, so I can look at the immortal leaves with confidence. Let's break the ice layer first. After a while, there was still no progress, and then Soul Wuya said. As soon as the voice fell, there was no soul in the palm of the hand, and circles of extremely strange ghosts emerged, facing the ice cage. This guy is indeed a person from the ghost world. Looking at the extremely strange ghostly aura on Hun Wuya's body, the Lord of Soul Eater said. Among the ghost world, there are 3 identities in total. The most powerful aura is the aboriginal inhabitants of the ghost world. Only these aboriginal residents can use ghost aura, and a powerhouse like Deathwind, although possessing the spirit of fighting immortals. Power, but it does not use ghost energy. Its identity is that after human beings die, their 3 souls and 7 souls or complete souls enter the ghost world, so they continue to live here as another existence, although it is indeed still alive, but it is already the body of a soul, and resurrection is almost impossible. In the human world, once a human being dies, if the 3 souls and 7 souls or the complete soul body enters the ghost world, they will be judged to have fallen completely. Gula Gulu, the extremely strange black air just touched the ice cage, and was immediately purified by the ice cage. Strange thing, why can't this ice cage be cracked? Hun Wuya also shook his head, obviously using all his strengths, but still there was no way. What the asterisk is this ice cage? Hun Wuya couldn't help frowning. Obviously, the ice cage that protects the undead leaves is quite powerful, and even his 2-star Do Xian perfection cannot be cracked. Forget it, let's go first. After a struggle, nothing changed, and then Han Wuya carefully put away the ice cage, and then prepared to escape from here. Why are you leaving in such a hurry? Just when Sol Wuya just put away the undead leaf ice cage, when he was about to leave, he suddenly felt that this space was filled with an extremely violent flame force. The terrifying power vaguely made Sol Wuya feel a little uneasy. Sol Wuya, as one of the 12 souls of the Ghost Kingdom, naturally uses a spooky ghost energy, and Xiao Yan uses the core inscription of the divine life to cast the formation, adding the power of the holy flame, and wants to deal with a wounded. The completion of the 2-star fighting immortals naturally has the power of a battle. After all, Shengen is the nemesis of ghosts. Who? Sneaky. Get out for this deity. The next moment, feeling the huge flame aura, Han Wuya's face hidden under the black robe couldn't help grimace, and let out a loud cry. Now that I am full of scars, if I go down here, I am afraid I will be consumed by this guy. After all, the flame on this guy is too powerful. Leave the undead leaves to keep you safe, Xiao Yan said condescendingly while standing in his own formation. The space here has been surrounded by the formation formed by the core inscription of his own divine movement, and he has also injected the power of holy flames. In this formation, his strength has undoubtedly been enhanced a lot, and the soulless cliff the strength has been weakened too much, not to mention that he is now seriously injured. Ha ha ha. 1-star fighting immortals ants also want to touch the undead leaves. I think you were talking about a dream. Although Sol Wuya was injured, but forcibly supported the injury in the body so that no one could find out, and directly faced the Xiao Yan said disdainfully. The gap between the Do Xian powerhouses is not a little bit. Even if Sol Wuya is injured now, trying to kill Xiao Yan in the early stage of the 1-star Do Xian is as simple as squeezing an ant. This is the absolute crushing of strength. Pressure. Look at the move. At the next moment, Xiao Yan also did not give Sol Wuya any chance to counterattack. Blue-yellow flames appeared all over his body, and the eternal fire hang ancient ruler behind the figure was instantly removed. Burst out from the formation. This guy has such a terrifying flame energy. Why have I never seen it before? Although Han Wuya was proud, he did not dare to take it lightly in the face of the mysterious blue-yellow flame power on Xiao Yan's body, and a dark ghostly energy emerged from his body, trying to resist. Boom! Yuo Hang ancient ruler with overwhelming breath, suddenly attacked in front of Sol Wuya, and the blue-yellow flame on the Yuo Hang ancient ruler was touching the ghost energy of Sol Wuya. At that time, there was a sound of joy, and in an instant, the ghostly energy that the soulless cliffs used to resist Xiao Yan's attack actually collapsed. At the same time, Han Wuya's face also became extremely ugly, and the corners of his dry mouth couldn't help but emerge. How is it possible? It's actually the power of holy flame. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1178. Damn, how could you have holy flame? You can't be from the ghost world at all. Who are you? Han Wuya's figure was knocked back dozens of meters by Xiao Yan's blow, and his voice kept roaring. I am the one who took your life. Xiao Yan was not talking nonsense. He was brewing a huge offensive. Since the power of the holy flame suppressed him, he would naturally use thunder to obliterate him and cut off future troubles. Our ghost world is independent. If you humans from the 6 worlds enter our ghost world, they will undoubtedly be wanted by our ghost world. You're not from the ghost world at all, yet you are trespassing in the ghost world. Aren't you afraid of attracting the wrath of the great powers of our ghost world? Han Wuya couldn't help shouting. His voice was full of madness. There are many creatures in the ghost world, but if you want to have a holy flame, you can only have 2, and the holy flame on Xiao Yan's body clearly contains a very strong aura, which is clearly not the original inhabitant of the ghost world. In addition to the fact that the ghost world is independent, it is quite harsh to the people of the other 6 worlds, which leads to their current appearance. You'd better worry about yourself first. Fortune Fist. One punch jumps the mountain. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, the blue-yellow flame slowly wrapped around his fist, and then a wave of indifference brewed in that fist. Where the asterisk is this bastard? The guy with holy flame, I'm afraid. No, I have to go first, otherwise I'm very likely to fall into his hands. At this moment, Han Wuya temporarily dissipated all the pride in his heart, because he knew that even if it was his own 2-star Dushan perfect strength, in the face of a weak 1-star fighting immortal, it is also possible to capsize in the gutter. Not for anything else, just because he is seriously injured now, and even this guy has holy flames on his body. I want to leave now, it's too late. Pick me up. And how could Xiao Yan give Han Wuya a chance to escape? The blue-yellow flames above his fists became more and more intense, and even above the good fortune punch, a terrifying coercion that shook the world and then shook the world. Came suddenly. Han Wuya had no defense, and was directly hit by Xiao Yan's fierce punch. Suddenly, there was no bone-shattering sound, but a strange, rustling sound that slowly dissipated. Little chops. This deity has to kill you. With such huge damage to his body, Soul Wuya couldn't help roaring, his voice was full of madness. Susu. At this moment, the soul without cliffs directly took off the black robe covering him, revealing his original appearance. Soul body? With the disappearance of the black robe, the true face of Soul Wuya was also revealed. Xiao Yan just saw this and couldn't help but be surprised. What caught Xiao Yan's eyes was an almost transparent phantom. That phantom was clearly the smell of the soul. The so-called soul body exists separately from the human body. This is also Xiao Yan Yuan on the Do-Chi continent, and he knows that it is the usual trick of the Soul Clan. They themselves are soul bodies, so they use some special chain methods to capture other souls. Body, thereby swallowing up the power. Boom boom boom. Soul Wuya's soul body was just revealed, and there was a gust of gloomy wind in this formation. The power of holy flame, burn me. And Xiao Yan didn't dare to take it lightly. When he saw this guy showing his true body, he frowned, and holy flame crystals continued to emerge in his body, and then suddenly burned in the formation, which contains the incomparably strong and holy aura of Sheng Yan, which even vaguely and directly forced the soul body of Soul Wuya to retreat. Little bastard, Han Wuya, who showed his true body, couldn't help roaring while dealing with the power of the holy flame and at the same time resisting Xiao Yan's attack. You, a person from the Soul Clan? Xiao Yan couldn't help but ask tentatively as he looked at the retreating Soul Wuya. What? How could you possibly know about the Soul Clan? Hearing Xiao Yan's words, the expression of the Soul Wuya's soul body changed dramatically, his eyes fixed on Xiao Yan. It seems that my guess is correct. But it's okay, they are all old rivals. Xiao Yan smiled slowly. As soon as the voice fell, the blue-colored holy flame crystal and the khaki-yellow holy flame crystal suddenly appeared on his hands. This Soul Wuya's soul body strength can reach the perfect strength of the 2-star Do Xian. Xiao Yan's current strength in the early stage of the 1-star Do Xian. If he wants to destroy him, I am afraid it will be a bit difficult. However, the soul lock of Soul Wuya was broken by Yu Gan, which caused a serious injury to the source. In addition, Xiao Yan was carrying 2 kinds of holy flames at the same time, so it was not difficult to deal with this guy. Impossible. 2 kinds of holy flames? The next moment, Han Wuya looked flustered, staring at Xiao Yan as if he were looking at a monster. His eyes were full of awe. In the vast world, let alone his little ghost world soul, even some real powers, I am afraid there is no precedent for possessing 2 kinds of holy flames at the same time, but now in front of him, it is the one who possesses 2 kinds of holy flames. Duo Shengin human? It's time to end. The undead leaves are mine. As for the secrets of your Soul Clan, I, Xiao Yan, will thoroughly investigate one day. Xiao Yan gently twisted the 2 Saint Flame crystals in his hand, and suddenly there were khaki liquid and cyan liquid flowing out slowly, blasting away at Soul Wuya. And the 2 kinds of liquids are the power of the source of the 2 holy flames. The guy who can be dealt with by Xiao Yan using the 2 kinds of holy flames at the same time is enough to be called a strong one. Xiao Yan? You are the Xiao Yan in the lower realm who destroyed the strength of our Soul Clan branch? Hearing the word Xiao Yan, you read www. Yukanshu. Soul Wuya suddenly understood something. Hey, wait! When Xiao Yan heard the words, his face changed greatly, because from the shock of the soulless cliff just now, he knew something, and then he couldn't help but take back the source of holy flame, trying to ask what traces he found. It's a pity that things backfired. The 2 sources of holy flames were like a dam bursting, and they came to the Soul Wuya in an instant, and then attached to their soul body and suddenly burned. Boom boom boom. The khaki flame and cyan flame turned into a raging fire, instantly burning the soulless soul body clean. Soul Wuya's strength is indeed the perfect 2-star fighting immortal, but the source is damaged, and when two kinds of holy flames are shot at the same time, it is naturally so vulnerable. Hey, it's a miscalculation. Xiao Yan reluctantly came to the place where Soul Wuya was destroyed, and gently took out the remaining holding ring, carefully checked it, and the undead leaf ice cage was indeed inside, and then carefully took it out. Thus, the Nana ring will be completely wiped out. It's time to go back. Undying Yan Do Soul, it's time to start. Xiao Yan smiled slowly, then dissipated the formation in an instant, and headed towards the Ghost King city. Xiao Yan's figure just left, and the figures of Soul Hao and Death Feng also appeared in the place where the two had just fought. Not good. Han Wuya was actually plotted against. Han Hao's eyes turned cold, and then he swiftly walked towards the place where Han Wuya fell. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1179. Your Excellency, you are so trespassing in my Ghost King city, and you won't give me an explanation? Dead Wind's figure instantly caught up with Han Hao, appeared in front of him, and then smiled grimly. Little beast, Han Wuya is a dignified soul, with the perfect strength of the 2-star fighting immortals. How could it be killed by someone? How is this possible? Han Hao came to the place where Xiao Yan and Han Wuya had just fought. Staring gloomily at this small hill, he couldn't help roaring. Soul Wuya is the weakest of the 12 souls, but his strength has reached the level of 2-star Do Xian perfection. Even if he has just been seriously injured by Yugon, self-protection should not be a problem, but how did he fall? And what's more important, it is this guy who has an immortal leaf on his body. Now, with the fall of Han Wuya, the undead leaves also disappeared, which made Han Hao quite angry. Get away from me. Soul Hao Qi didn't come out, he waved it directly, and the terrifying black Qi strong wind attacked the Death Wind. Bang bang bang. When Death Wind saw this, he waved the same, and suddenly a silver hurricane brewed out. Although Death Feng's strength is only a 2-star Dushan, he has a real trump card in his hand, even if he is dealing with a 3-star Do Xian. Who is it? Han Hao still roared. They left the Ghost Kingdom to go here. Naturally, they got the news of the undead leaves, so they were ready to take it away, but they didn't expect this scene to happen. This guy, why is he so emotional? Dead Wind was also immobile, thinking. This deity has no time to play with you. Su. After Han Hao finished speaking, he instantly turned into a meteor and fled away into the distance. Naturally, Death Wind couldn't catch up with him. Oh, it seems that the strength and background of these two guys are a bit scary. We have to report this matter as soon as possible. Seeing this, Dead Wind shook his head slightly, and then went back the same way. There is a reason why Soul Hao didn't take action against Death Feng. Although Soul Hao's strength in the early stage of 3-star fighting immortals, Death Wind is only the strength of 2-star fighting fairy, but there is some hidden aura in Death Wind, so Soul Hao has no certainty of victory. Naturally, he did not dare to act rashly. Not to mention that the murderer who killed Soul Wuya is probably still nearby, and it would not be a good thing to kill the 2-star Dushan perfectionist. With the separation of Han Hao and Death Wind, the place has returned to calm, but aside, the battle of the Btth people still continues. What secret does this undead leaf hold? Xiao Yan couldn't help but ask Soul Eater on the way not long after he left. Xiao Yan knew that the undead leaf must have something to do with the undead nymph, but now the undead nymph has been sealed by himself. It is no different from falling into a deep sleep, so he can only ask the Lord of Soul Eater. I don't know what this undead leaf does, but I vaguely remember that it is an indispensable thing to swallow the undead fire. The Soul Eater tried to recall, and it took a few minutes before he choked out such a sentence. Now that the immortal Nether Sparrow and the immortal leaf are in hand, and the immortal fire is likely to exist in the ghost world, it seems that it is time to prepare to devour the material of the immortal fire. Xiao Yan couldn't help but said, there are not many materials needed to devour the undead fire. There are only two kinds, namely the undead leaves and the ice mysterious pill. The Soul Eater is knowledgeable and knows the power of the undead fire, and these two materials are impressively. Soul Eater knew it by chance. Is the undead leaf really so magical? Xiao Yan couldn't help asking. I don't know the specific effect of the undead leaf, but the power of ice in the ice cage outside it, I believe you have already felt it? The Soul Eater asked. It's very strong, and I'm afraid I can't open it at all with the current me. Xiao Yan shook his head. This undead leaf is a life-saving thing for you to touch the undead leaf. The top 30 and the top 20 in the Holy Flame list are not the same level of flame. If you don't have the protection of undead leaves, let alone swallowing, I'm afraid you won't even have a chance to get close. The Lord of Soul Eater said lightly. And what about blind pills? With the immortal leaves already in hand, Xiao Yan naturally wasn't worried, so he asked. The Ice Profound Pill, whose rank ranks 5th in the immortal rank, is the best means of protection for you to swallow the undead fire. Its materials are divided into heart-suppressing grass, a magic core with the strength of a human 3-star fighting immortal, and a 1,000-year-old mysterious ice under the deep sea. The indifferent voice of the Soul Eater, but it was going to tinlay in Xiao Yan. There was a slow explosion in my mind. Heart-suppressing grass? This kind of thing is said to have the mysterious effect of calming the mind in meditation, and it can even resist a lot of venom, so it got this name, but because it is too precious, it has always been priceless on the market. Take Ghost King City as an example. If there is a heart-suppressing grass, it will probably be hyped up to a sky-high price. Just measured by money, it is on the level of hundreds of millions. Let's talk about the magical beasts with the strength of Samsung fighting immortals. This is the ghost world, and the demon core is naturally called the soul core, but its essence is the same. But this is what gave Xiao Yan the most headache. After the soul beast strength broke through Do Xian, the strength has made a qualitative leap, and even some soul beasts have been converted to human beings, which makes people stupidly unclear. However, if you want to kill a 3-star fighting immortal level soul beast, it may be difficult. After all, there is no one to be offended by a soul beast in the realm of fighting immortals. And that last thing, Xiao Yan had never even heard of it. 1,000 years of mysterious ice in the deep sea has always been a forbidden area for human beings. Ordinary human beings enter the deep sea, and the limit is a few hundred meters, but the birthplace of this 1,000-year-old mysterious ice is standing in the deep sea. Within kilometers, there are countless powerful abilities in the deep sea. The deeper you dive, the easier it is to get into trouble. Undoubtedly, although the first 2 ingredients of the Ice Profound Pill are difficult, there are still traces to be found, but this last item is no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Don't be discouraged, little guy, let's take one step at a time. Soul Eater seemed to sense what Xiao Yan was thinking, and said. Yeah. Xiao Yan also knew that it was not a matter of a day or two to prepare the materials to devour the immortal fire, and immediately laughed. Xiao Yan didn't believe it, he couldn't solve it himself. It's almost time for the Ghost King City. In the next time, we must work hard to improve our strength. When the time is right, we must swallow the fighting spirit. In addition, we must find a way to advance to the immortal rank alchemist. In this way, I am afraid that we will be able to win in this crouching tiger, hidden dragon's ghost Tiandongzhou. Xiao Yan thought to himself. Let's not rush back first, there seems to be a good show over there, go and see. After the Lord of Soul Eater finished speaking, he immediately hid his breath, and Xiao Yan's figure also took off his black robe, revealing his original appearance, thus towards the battlefield. This month, we are still taking high-level chip and English exams, so the update is still twice a day, at 12 o'clock in the morning and 1800 in the afternoon. And about the great God, I am so busy every day that I forgot to answer the question, my fault. I'm sorry everyone. End of this chapter.